Catching Up on the Drift, Part 3, Internal Tyranny. According to the evidence, the terrorists who planned and paid for 9/11 with their stolen money were very worried. Their whole corrupted banking system was on its last legs. The CIA officers in Building 7 were busy analysing the mounting evidence relating to banking crimes of fraud, theft, drugs money laundering and worse. Heads were set to roll directly into bankruptcy and possibly, for some, into jail. Meanwhile, senior figures in Washington and the military were getting very agitated about the matter of a missing $2 trillion gone from the Pentagon budget. The World Trade Centers house yet more damning evidence of fraudulent transactions and insider trading via Wall Street. The towers themselves were a giant financial headache for their new owner, a dual Israeli-USA citizen. A hefty bill loomed towards addressing the necessary repairs and refurbishments. Demolishment was not an easy option, as the buildings could not lawfully be demolished until all their asbestos had been safely removed. The estimated cost of asbestos removal from the trade centres was in the billions. On 9/11, evidence held by CIA in Building 7 was destroyed. All evidence and many eyewitnesses held in the World Trade Centers were destroyed. Evidence related to the missing $2 trillion and almost all investigating staff were destroyed when the Pentagon accounts offices got struck by a missile, very probably released from a low-flying plane. The Twin Towers and Building 7 had all been pre-wired with nanothermite for a demolition time to start soon after the plane impacts. USA military and air defence were set to be distracted by military training exercises involving hijacked planes heading for New York and Washington. An anti-Islamic narrative and associated patsies proposed to be acting for Al-Qaeda was prepared and ready to be fed into media reports on the events of that day. 9/11 was then to be a springboard into military invasion of the Middle East, with America then committed to a vastly increased military budget and military presence overseas. The government could not in any way afford to allow the banks to collapse, but instead agreed to bail them out on the strength of popular public and national and private assets, including American citizens' jobs, resources and homes, all to become available to the banks and their corporations in return for their continued loans. The bankers are invited to print money to bail themselves out and then to present the bailout as a bill to be paid with interest by this and every future generation of the American public. The corporately controlled media is ordered to present only the official conspiracy theory about 9/11. They are ordered to ignore and ridicule any facts or evidence to the contrary. The media are compliant. Everyone in the inside who suspects remains silent, afraid of losing their job or even their lives. Loss of job usually means loss of home, relationship breakdowns, loss of healthcare and loss of pension, security and stability. A comfortable salary and good social standing are leverage in a world where the majority have neither. No one wants to get dumped into social and economic hell. America's journalists, police, intelligence and military are obedient in failing to do their jobs in order to keep their jobs. The crime scenes at the World Trade Centers and the Pentagon and Building 7 are not secured. Forensic teams are not sent to investigate. Evidence is destroyed and even sent abroad. Witness testimonies are ignored. The public is told lies about the dust from the collapsed World Trade Centers. No one is warned that it contains deadly asbestos particles which have been pulverised to a fine dust. People continue to suffer and die as a direct result of breathing in that dust. Many of those are firefighters, police and other first responders such as medics and volunteers. The people who did 9/11 do not look like terrorists. They look like businessmen and politicians. Many on the inside earned huge sums via put options on the stock exchange. They betted against any rise in share prices if the American Airlines to be implicated in the 9/11 attacks. The sudden rise in such bets just prior to 9/11 was really inexplicable. These stock market gamblers were rewarded with huge profits when their bets won. Few in the media questioned why the financial system permits such immoral activity. All of established authority refuses to recognise those suspicious bets as evidence of insider knowledge within finance. The owner of the World Trade Centers and Building 7 receives billions in insurance payouts. He did very well out of 9/11. The terrorists not only demolished his buildings without costs of asbestos removal, but also provided him with enough money to rebuild. Those who did 9/11 probably had a budget of $2 trillion from the Pentagon, which at that time was under control of another dual Israeli-USA citizen. Probability, when supported by evidence of crime, suspects, victims, witnesses, facts, motive, opportunity and intent, is a fundamental feature of law, and any probability that a crime has been committed is lawful grounds for lawful suspicion demanding a lawful investigation. Those who did 9/11 are of a particular psychology, and those who followed their orders are of a particular psychology too. A lawless economy buys everything. It buys complicity, lies, thieves, murderers, ignorance and silence. Yet still, Jesus stated that half the money belongs to God, universal law, because what does the universe need money for if not to uphold law and rights for all the life on earth? It is only because half the user's money is not given to God, life, and worse still, is created on a foundation of profitable debt, that the present economic system is a lawless imposition on life. Those who are prepared to do anything for money are the people who are most likely to end up with most money. The kind of people who will do anything and everything for money are also the kind of people who yearn for most power to orchestrate events like 9/11, for a stepping stone to achieving greater power. Crime pays when the criminals have bought the media, government, military and police, and when every business owes the ruling mob a debt. That same criminal mob psychology established a banking system on the principle of debt-based usury.